Alright, this is the review for the Unit 6 test. We're going to be taking that tomorrow. Keep in mind that on this review, I changed the numbers and I switched around the answer choices. So just because it's C on here does not mean it's C tomorrow. Okay, so you're going to actually have to study this a little bit. Good news is, a lot of this test is over those formulas. Okay? Now just because the numbers are different, the formulas will still be pretty close to what they are on here. Alright, so that's something that you could study. Alright, I'm going to text you the link to this video tonight, and then of course you'll have this study guide with you that you can study tonight as well. Okay? So, let's look at number 1. Joseph and Maria went to the Texas State Fair. They each bought a corn dog for $4.50 and a soda for $1.25. Which expression could be used to determine how much they both spent at the fair? Alright, so if I wanted to figure out how much they spent, what would I do? If I wanted to figure out how much they spent.
Multiply 2 times 450 and 125 times 2.
Alright, so multiplication and addition. Those are the two operations that I'm getting. So, based off of those operations, if I take a look at this and this, do we subtract or divide during this problem? So we can go ahead and take off A and D. Okay, I'm going to change the color of that. Alright, so that leaves us with B and C. Now the only thing that's different between these is the parentheses. Now why would those parentheses matter?
Because you have to do it first before you can do the other thing.
Alright, so on B, we're going to be multiplying 450 by 2 and then adding $1.25. Is that what we wanted to do? No, because we also got 2 drinks, right?
Yes.
Well, this would only count for one of them. We got to multiply that by 2 also. So B does not work. On C, we'd add first. We would add these first. Which, once I added those, what would that give me? When I added them, I don't want the number, I'm saying, what would that give me as far as information is concerned?
The drink and the corn dog.
How much the drink and the corn dog cost, right? Then, I would multiply that by 2 because there's 2 people. So that actually works. So C is my answer. Now again, tomorrow C will not be the answer, but the formula will be very similar to this. Different numbers, but still same formula. Alright. If we look at 2. Tony's living room has an area of 120 square feet. The living room has a length of 10 feet, which equation can be used to determine W, the width of the living room. Now, if we look at the board over here, what is the formula for area? Length times width. Alright, okay, so area, and I'll even write it, area is equal to length times width. Now, do we know what our area is? Yep, it says 120 up here, so instead of area, I'll put 120. Do we know what the length is? 10, it tells us right here. And then do we know what the width is? What do they give us? They give us W for the width. Alright, so 120 is equal to 10 times W. What does that look like? It's one of these answer choices. Look at the 4 answer choices. Which one looks the most like this? J. It's backwards, but we still have 10 times W equals 120, 120. So J is our answer. We look at number 3. Information was compared for 2 cookie stores. One cookie store made 180 cookies per hour. The other cookie store made 125 cookies per hour. Which of the following equations could be used to find T, the total number of cookies both stores make in 3 hours? Alright, So, first thing I'd want to find out is how much they make in 1 hour. So how would I figure out what both stores made in an hour?
Don't you know?
Well, I know that one store makes 180 cookies and the other store makes 125 cookies. How would I figure out what both stores make in 1 hour?
You add and then multiply.
You would just add them together. If one store's making 180 every hour and the other's making 125 every hour, add them together and you'll know what both stores together are making every hour. Once I know that, what do I need to do with it?
Multiply by 3.
I'll multiply that by 3. Now, before we even look at our answer choices, did we subtract?
No.
Did we divide?
No.
No. Alright, all we did was add and multiply. So, which one of these, A or C, look the most like this right here?
A.
A. Only thing different is they have 3 on the right and we had 3 on the left. Alright. Now, on the number 4, alright, number 4 wants us to look back at number 3 and use the formula that we came up with in order to solve, alright, how much those stores would make in 3 hours. Now, the formula that we picked as our answer was 180 plus 125 times 3. So number 4 just wants us to solve that. Now, before we even solve it, make sure you understand, if you miss number 3, you're guaranteed to miss number 4, right? So you got to make sure you get number 3 right. Now, on number 4, if I'm looking at that equation, what's the first thing I want to solve?
Add 180 plus 120.
We got to do parentheses first by adding. So 180 plus 125, that equals 305. And it's still times 3. So 305 times 3.
905.
Not quite.
915.
915. Now, make sure you keep track of where this decimal is when you're filling this out. We had a lot of problems with that on the benchmark. There you go. Alright, for number 5. For 7 days, Jamal drank 3 pints of milk for breakfast and 2 pints of milk for lunch. Which equation could be used to determine Q, the number of quarts of milk that Jamal drank in 7 days? Now, I can tell you right now, and I'll tell you tomorrow on the test, 1 quart equals 2 pints. Alright, so, first thing I need to do, I need to figure out how much he's drinking per day. So how would I figure out how much he's drinking per day?
Wait,
It says for 7 days, Jamal drank 3 pints for breakfast, 2 pints for lunch.
add multiply.
What am I going to add?
5 plus 3 plus 2.
3 plus 2. That's the first thing I've got to do. If I go look at my answer choices, all of them have that. Then what's the next thing that I got to do?
Multiply by 7.
Multiply by 7 because there's 7 days. Finally, that's going to give me the number of pints he drank. Now how do I turn pints into quarts? Divide by 2. So C is my answer. Now, my big tip on this one is, anywhere in this problem, did we see a 16? An 8? A 4? Not at all. We didn't see any of those. I'm going to give you this conversion right here. So you'll have that number. Alright, so that should be pretty basic when you see it. You should see 2 and be like, oh, okay, well, C is our answer. Alright. 6. Jared is using a scale of 1/2 inch to a foot to make a scale drawing of his house. Which graph best represents the data in the table? I don't care about his house. I don't care about his scale. They give us a table. Use this table to figure out which graph goes with it. Now, if we look, every graph has inches on the bottom, feet on the side. So if I look right here, the first thing they give us, 1 inch and 2 feet. So let me zoom in on every graph. 1 inch, 2 feet. That puts me right here. Is that where it is? No, graph doesn't go there, so that didn't work. 1 inch, 2 feet. Puts me right there. Again, graph didn't go there. 1 inch, 2 feet, right there. That one actually works out. J, 1 inch, 2 feet. Not even close. So our answer is H. There you go. Alright, number 7. A certain cookie recipe calls for 2 cups of flour to make 1 batch of cookies. Which of the following best represent that relationship and the number of batches of cookies? So, our relationship is 1 batch gives us 2 cups of flour. Now, every answer has cups on the bottom, batches on the side. So, if I need to get 2 cups for every 1, let's take a look. 2 cups, 1 batch, puts me right there. Is that what they gave us?
No.
It was close, but not quite. Alright, B. We have 2 cups, 1 batch, not even close. C. 2 cups, 1 batch, not even close. Last one. 2 cups, 1 batch. That's dead on. So D is our answer. So those shouldn't be too difficult because you're literally just taking the information they give you and looking at the graph. Alright? Those should be pretty simple. Alright, number 8. Algebra. Yay! Everybody loves that algebra, right?
Yeah, it is.
Alright, so we have this scale. Alright, they draw it in pictures. They also give us the number here. Now, our first step in algebra is get all the x's on one side. Have we got that accomplished here? No, we've got x's here and here. So which side do I take the x's away from?
The right side.
The right side, because it has the fewer numbers. So I'm going to take away 1x. Now, if I do that, I got to do it on the left side also. Otherwise, my scale will tip. So I'm left with 2x plus 1 equals 3. What's my next step? We're going to subtract this 1 here because we want to isolate our variable. We want our x's alone. So if I take away this 1, I've got to do it over here as well. So minus 1 on both sides. That gives me 2x is equal to 2. So what does x equal?
2.
What would I plug in for x right here? 1. 2 times 1 equals 2, right? So J is our answer. Now, if you couldn't remember your steps, you could always just take each individual number and plug it in for your x's up here. And just see if it works. The only one that would work is 1 because 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 equals 4. Alright, that's the other way to solve those. Number 9. Alyssa and her 3 friends ate dinner at a restaurant and each ordered the same meal. If the total cost of the dinner was $77.78, write an equation that could be used to determine C, the cost per person. Now, you and 3 friends go to eat a meal. How do you figure out what each person pays?
Divide by how many people there.
Alright, so I have $7.78. What do I divide it by?
4.
4. They want you to say 3, but you can't forget about Alyssa. Now this right here is your answer. You do not have to do the division. All it wants is the equation. So stop there. You'll be amazed at how half of you will try to solve it when you don't need to. Number 10. Mandy is drawing a picture of a sailboat that's 45 feet long. Mandy's drawing has a scale factor of 3 inches to 1 foot. Which equation can be used to find S, the length of Mandy's drawing of the sailboat? Now, all I'm going to do is set up a proportion. I'm comparing inches and feet. Now, how many feet is her sailboat? 45. And we want to know how many inches that would translate. Alright, well, what did I do to 1 to get to 45? Times 45. So what am I going to do up here? Times 45. If we look at our answer choices, what seems like it would be the correct answer?
G.
3 times 45. 3 times 45. G is our answer. Alright, number 11. Which problem situation could be solved with this equation? Alright, in this equation, what stands out? Pi, right? Now, if we look up at the board at all of our formulas, what is pi always dealing with? We got area of a circle, circumference, cylinder. What do all those have in common?
Oh, they're all round.
They're all round like a circle. Pi always works with circles, right? So we can go through and eliminate. A, does that deal with a circle?
Yes.
Yes, it does. B, does that deal with a circle? No. C? No. D? Yes, it deals with circumference. So, it's either A or D. Now, area of a circle, what's my formula?
Pi r squared.
Pi r squared. Does that look like we have here? Does that match?
No.
Nope. There's not even a squared number in here, so that doesn't work. Now D is 2 pi r. Well, that's pretty close, isn't it? So D is our answer. Alright, 12. 12 is more algebra. Now, we have 2x plus 2 equals x plus 1. Our first step is to just plug in, is to get our x's by themselves. Right now, there's x's on both sides, so I need to take away an x from both sides. That leaves me with 1x plus 2 equals 1. Next step, get the x alone, so I've got to take away the 2. That leaves me with x equals, what's 1 minus 2? Negative 1. Alright, and we can plug that in. What's 2 times negative 1? Negative 2. And then negative 2 plus 2? What is negative 2 plus 2? 0. And then for here, we have x is negative 1. So negative 1 plus 1. 0 equals 0. J is definitely our answer. Alright, 13. Tells us a lot about his math class, but then the question says, which formula can be used to calculate the area of a card? So we're calculating for y when we're given x. So, how are we getting from x to y every time?
Divided by 4.
Of x to y, you multiply by 4.
Yeah, every time we're multiplying by 4, right? 6 times 4 is 24. 9 times 4 is 36. 15 times 4 is 60. It says that we're given x, so that came first. So we're taking x and we're multiplying it by 4. So what's my answer? A. Alright, 14. Again, we're going to have to look at our formulas that are over on the board. It wants to know which one goes with this right here. Well, it says, what is S? The perimeter of a rectangle with width of 2t and length 12. Well, what's the formula for perimeter? Two times length plus 2 times width. Well, what's my length in F? 12 plus 2 times width. What's my width? 2t. Alright, so there's the problem. Does that match? Nope, does not. On G, S is the area of a rectangle. Well, area of a rectangle, what is that? Length times width. What's my length? 12. And my width? 2t. Does this say 12 times 2t? Nope. Alright, H. Instead of giving us a formula, they give us a conversion. S is the number of inches in t feet. Well, how many inches in feet? 12 inches in 1 foot. So instead of a t, what number am I going to put? Well, I want to deal with feet. 1, and S becomes 12. So if we plug that in, 12 would go in for S. T is feet, which is 1, divided by 2. So what's 12 times 1? Divided by 2 is 6. Does 12 equal 6? No, it does not. J, what is S? The area of a triangle with a height T and a base of 12. What's my formula for area of a triangle? Alright, so what's my base? And what's my height?
T.
Then I divide that by 2. Does that look like we have up there? It's identical. Alright. 15. Now, he's making a 2-layered cake. This is the first layer. This is the whole cake after he adds the second layer. Alright? First thing you want to know is the formula to find the volume of just the top layer, this one right here. Well, how do you find volume? It's up there. Length times width times height. Alright, well, what's my length? 12. What's my width? Width. And what's my height? There we go. That would give us the volume. Now, what would the volume, how would I find volume for the complete cake? Length times width times height, well, what would that be? 12 times 12 times 5. Good. Finally, how does the volume of the whole cake compare to the volume of just the top layer? Well, how does this volume of this cake compare to this cake?
You want like a number?
No, I just want to know. Just straight up tell me.
Well, you added another layer.
So, how much? How did the amount of cake change from here to here? Guys, this cake right here is twice the size of this cake.
Oh.
Alright. Finally, let's go 16. This wants to know which one of these relationships is best shown here. Alright, well, first one is cups to ounces. I can tell you right now, for every 1 cup, there's 8 ounces. So, 1 cup, 8 ounces. 2 cups, 16 ounces. 3 cups, 24 ounces. This one looks pretty good. Inches to feet, there's 12 inches for 1 foot. Well, here's 1 and 12. Already we're off, so that didn't work. Alright, next one is cups to quarts. There are 4 cups in 1 quart. So 1 quart, here's 4 cups. Didn't line up. Finally, yards to feet. 1 yard for 3 feet. There's 1 and 3. Didn't line up. F is the only answer that works. Alright, last one. Very last question. Graph below represents the relationship between feet and inches for a scale on the blueprint of a house. Which of the following best represented by this graph? Alright. We can see here that feet are on the side, inches are on the bottom. So, if I have 2 feet and half an inch, that put me right there. That's not where I want to be. If I have 1 inch and if I have half an inch and 1 foot, that puts me right there. Not where I want to be. 1 foot and 2 inches is right here. Not where I want to be. Finally, 1 inch and 2 feet puts me right on that line. So D is my answer. Alright, that's just a matter of looking at the graph. Alright, and that is your entire test review.